What's going on, guys? My name is Jaime Behar, and in today's video, I'm gonna share something super interesting. You guys see this banana right here? This banana is the exact reflection of why you're not where you want to be. Now you're probably thinking like, why the hell is Jaime holding a banana? Now look, this banana, you're gonna want to hear this. This banana is only edible, maybe not only edible, but this banana, the good stuff, right? The real juicy stuff is inside, right? Once you peel the actual layers of it, then it actually tastes good, right? Could you possibly eat the outside skin of it? I mean, you could, but most people don't, right? I've seen people who do it, but that's not really the point. Now, this is not about the banana, right? But this is about you. And really what I'm trying to get you guys to look at, and the main thing that I want you guys to pick up from what I'm about to share, is that you're not where you want to be, not because you can't do it, not because you don't know how, not because of the information or the knowledge or the people or your circumstances or any of that. It has nothing to do with that, right? But what it does have to do is the underlying layers within of who you are and why you operate the way you operate. Now, usually what's underneath that tends to be a bit superficial. And so when I say superficial, I'm referring to the thing and the reason as to why you think something's stopping you is not really the reason, right? Usually we'll create certain belief systems and certain traits and reassurances that we give ourselves as to like why we do what we do and why we don't do what we want to do. Those things are sometimes true, right? They are true to a certain degree, but it's not the infinite truth. It's not the only truth, and it's not really the main truth. And so we are just like this banana, and we're also like an onion, right? There's layers within us that are basically blocking and covering who we truly are and why we're operating from where we're operating. And now, so what I want you guys to get from this is, what would it look like if you actually knew what was at the core? Like, again, we know what's at the core of this, right? If we peel this banana, like, we know the good stuff's in here. What if you can actually figure out like what's truly inside of you, what's truly blocking you, and what it could look like differently once you identify it? And what I'm also gonna show you is how to identify what that root is. And I'm gonna share with you guys a story about a friend that was actually just here at my house a couple hours ago, and basically I completely dissected him in that regard. And so the reason why I actually asked my friend to come over was because I started noticing the last couple of months that he was taking massive action in the sense of doing a lot of things, right? Like he was trying to do so much to try and create a certain outcome, but that outcome wasn't happening, right? And I was noticing it because we're involved in a couple similar things, but I'm also noticed it not just in the things that we're involved in, but in the way he was being with those other things, right? And I'm being very vague because I'm trying to keep some confidentiality here. But the point is that I kept thinking about it for the last week, and I was like, man, there's something not clicking for them. Like, how can I help them identify it? And then part of me was like, well, what is it that's not clicking for them? Like, I had to really think about it. And so I took some time over the weekend to like really look within me, look within him, to try and figure out like what was stopping him. And so what I realized, and the conclusion that I came to, was that he was so caught up in the doing that he could not actually get down to the bottom layer of what was stopping him, right? So this guy's done a lot of different work when it comes to therapy and transformational work and all kinds of different things like that. And so since I've met him, he's completely changed. He is a different person, but the life outcome that he wants is still not here, right? And I was able to pick up on that because I know what he's trying to shoot for. I have an idea of it based on what he's told me, but I can also see it based on the way he's operating on a daily basis. Now, just because we take a lot of action, it doesn't mean we're actually going to create the result that we want. Just because we do a lot of action, it doesn't mean we're actually working towards the thing that we want. Just because we take a lot of action does not mean it's coming from the right place. Not that there's a wrong or a right, but what if there is a more effective place, right? What if there's a way where you can effectively perform at a higher level or at a more efficient level towards the goal that you want? And so that is something that it took me many years to identify, to the point where I was also caught up in the doing. I was also caught up in the next training and the next coaching and the next thing. And so although all that stuff helped, it didn't actually all click until I peeled the final layer. So I'll give you guys a simple example, and I have some notes right here. So like, for example, a lot of times people say they want to start a business, but then they usually say, I don't have money, right? Well, that's layer number one, right? So like, again, if you use the analogy of an onion, like there's multiple layers to it, right? If you get caught up in that first layer, like, is that a potential issue? Yes, right? So I'm not saying that the things that are triggering us or holding us back aren't real, but it's not deep enough, right? What if you can go deep enough till you actually get to the root of it? And so using that as an example as to like starting a business and saying I don't have money, what if then you look deeper and realize that like, hey, what if it's not about the money? What if I'm actually just afraid of looking stupid? What if I'm afraid of failing, right? And what if because I'm so afraid of these things, I can't even see the opportunity that the money is there right in front of me, right? And there's alternate ways to be able to get that money to start the business. That'd be the second layer. The third layer would be that you don't actually believe you can make it happen, right? That would go an even deeper layer as to like why you're not starting the business. Now, if you're at that point now, right, and this is 3 layers, and again, this does not mean that there's only 3 layers to get to the core of things. There could be 10, 20 layers, right? But you have to be able to actually dig within yourself to be able to identify those things. And so if we use that same example, right, that you don't actually believe that you can accomplish something, which is why you're not building the business, then what if it's actually more of a sense of unworthiness and self-love or approval that you're looking for to actually start the business, right? So if you think about it, we went through like 4 layers now, right? First, I can't start the business because of money. Second, I'm afraid that I might look stupid or I'll fail. Third, I don't believe that I can actually accomplish it. And 4, I just don't feel worthy, right? So when you're able to identify that, right? And this is what I mean by like being able to have a lot of self-awareness and identifying those things and becoming self-aware to the point where you can dig. And I think I use this phrase all the time where I just say like, just dig. And it's really peeling the layers. If you can get to the bottom core of it, like now you can identify like, oh man, like this is more of a worthiness thing. Like, what do I need to do to actually get to the other side of things? Now, there's a lot of modalities that you can use. And I've done a lot of different types of things. Like again, there's therapy, there's coaching, performance coaching, there's transformational work. There's, some people do plant medicine, psychedelic, hypnosis. Like there's all kinds of different things that people do. But one of the most powerful tools that I've been able to identify when it comes to all this stuff is that honestly, we can literally do it ourselves. And so you're not going to be able to identify that or be able to you're not gonna be able to shift into who you wanna become unless you can actually identify that root cause. And so before I tell you, now that I've showed you how to identify the root cause, I'm gonna tell you this quick story about my friend. At the end of the video, or after the story, I'm gonna tell you what to do once you've identified the cause, like the true seed of the issue. And so again, I had this friend come over and he again was just not operating from the place that I know he wanted to, just based on the things that he told me, but his actions were telling me otherwise, right? He said he wanted X, but he was operating from a Y frequency or from a Y framework. And so you're never gonna get X if you're operating from Y, right? And I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. And so what I was trying to get him to see is that A, he is focusing on the wrong thing, right? He's so caught up in doing all these things to get to that goal that you can do all the things you want to do, but if you're not actually aligned to the vision and aligned to who you are and aligned to what you're trying to create, it's gonna be a waste of time. Like it's just gonna take you a very, very, very long time. And so I shared with him a lot of my stories about like what I've gone through, what I've experienced, and he knows me, like he knows the things that happened to me the last couple of years, or that I've gone through. And so I was showing that as giving him perspective as to like what would have to happen or how to look at things to then be able to shift that. And so when we were digging deep within him, one of the things that he was talking about was that he feels like he's on the path. Like he feels like he's getting the coaching, he feels like he's implementing the work, but like something's just not quite getting. And so what I was trying to get him to see is that he didn't actually have a clear vision, for one. Right? He didn't actually know what he actually wanted to be able to create that result. The second thing was that he was still operating from a certain frequency and from a certain wiring that was never going to actually let him get there. And if he couldn't identify it, then he would not have the opportunity to actually switch it. And so we dug super deep here with him right now to the point where he told me things that I had no idea of. It was at a point where he went through a lot of trauma with his family. And most of his life were just, his family had certain belief systems that were just not the norm, I would say. And it got to a point where his family pretty much disowned him, right? I'm not gonna get into the details as to what happened or what he was going through or what he did or didn't do, but it got to the point where his family disowned him. Now, this guy is not a child, like he's a grown man. As we were digging through this, like I also realized, I'm like, okay, now we're actually getting somewhere, is that core wound is still there, right? That wound, and he knows that wound is still there, and it's something that he's been working on religiously to fix it, right? Like how, he's been trying to heal it, he's been trying to do all these different modalities on how to fix it, but yet, regardless of all the work he's done, it just was not clicking, right? He just was not able to fully shift. And so once we got to that point, I got him to see. I was like, look, now that you're clear on like where you're operating from, like this pain point right here, all the work that you've done is great, but that pain point is still holding you back. That pain point, that seed, the good stuff, the juicy stuff, now we peeled off all the layers, right? It's not that you're always in your head. It's not that you're quiet. It's not that you're not decisive. It's not that you don't know how to lead. It's not that you don't know what you want. It's because of this core wound that you don't actually have a clear distinction as to what you want to create. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up, I brought this up to him and I'm bringing this up to you guys, is because you can fix all the layers up on top, right? And you'll make progress, don't get me wrong, like you'll definitely make progress, but at the end of the day, as you start making that progress, that deeper layer is still gonna keep holding you back. That deeper layer is still gonna keep creating stories in your head as to why you should or should not do something. And so if you don't actually fix that core wound, then you're only prolonging the inevitable, right? The inevitable is that you're never actually going to accomplish the life of your dreams, right? Many people never do that. Like they never create the life of their dreams because they never get to the core of things. And really that's the message here, is like, can you find a way to get to the core? And if you peel the layers of the banana, of the onion, of yourself, right? And like, it's not just the superficial stuff again, right? It's not just the superficial stuff that we think is holding us back, but it's way deeper than that. And so you have to be able to dig to the point where you can find the core root. And so now that we have found the core root, now we can be like, okay, now we've identified it, right? We can do all these different things. We can try and heal it. We can tell yourself that you're healed and you're safe and do all this stuff. Like, look, that stuff works. It's great. But what if there's a faster way, right? I truly believe that there's a faster way. And that's, again, his core wound is this identity that he doesn't deserve it. Like he just doesn't believe he deserves the life he's trying to create. He can do all this work. He can get all this coaching. He can get better and implement better and maybe make some more money. But if he doesn't fix that core wound, it's gonna continuously keep holding him back. And that's what we're working on. And so I basically coach them right now on how to reverse that wound, which is, I think, something you guys might wanna hear. By this point, if you're still hearing this message, is that you've probably thought about some of the layers that you have, right? You've probably identified some of them. You've probably identified some of the things that are holding you back. You might even gotten deep enough into the last 5-10 minutes as to like what that core wound is, right? Or you might be somebody that already knows what that core wound is, right? And you're trying to consistently fix it right now. You're trying to do everything in your power to get to the other side of it. Now, I'm about to tell you how to fix that. All right, so if you're still watching this, I'm guessing you wanna know how to fix it. Look, I wish I knew this at a very young age. I wish I knew this when I was 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old, 20 years old, like 30 years old. I wish I knew this a very long time ago, but again, most people don't know this. Most people don't learn this. My parents didn't know. My friends didn't know. My significant other at the time didn't know, right? And so to a certain degree, like everybody tried to help. To a certain degree, everybody tried to help me, and I tried looking for the help to fix these things. But this one thing, guys, like if there's one message that I want to get across through all my videos, is that you can literally become whoever you want to become really, really fast. There is nobody out there that will give you more conviction than me. Like I will give you the most conviction possible that you can literally become who you want to become and create the life that you want at any given moment. I've been told by many people, like, hey Jaime, like, get off the clouds, like you're a little bit out there, like, hey Jaime, just because you think it's easy doesn't mean it's easy for other people. Well, guess what? I do think it's easy, and I do think it's easy for everybody. And at the same time, I'll say this, just because I say it's easy, I'm not saying it's not hard. Everything is hard. Everything in this life is difficult. But if you choose to believe that it's easy, then maybe the universe or the world or your subconscious or your mind will start giving you ways to show you how easy it is, right? Because what if the belief systems that we have as to what and why we think something is true is not actually true, right? So this is like the biggest thing that I'm gonna push in all my videos is like, I really want you guys to believe that anything is possible. Like anything is possible as long as you choose to believe it, regardless of how difficult it is. Now, again, how do we fix this, right? So we've identified the issue. Here's a couple things, and there's no right way of doing this, right? And at least this is what I have found works for me, and I've seen a lot of the experts like work on this. And so obviously the first thing is identifying it, right? There's micro levels before that, which is peeling the layers and getting deep within it. But once you identify that layer, is like you have to be consciously aware of that layer, of that deep seed all the time. Like you have to be really sure and very aware of like what's happening and why it's holding you back. Now, the next thing that I have done that I guarantee will work for you guys is you have to really sit with it. Like, you have to sit with the pain. You have to look at it. You have to see what it has created in your life, which most likely is going to be the outcomes that you don't want. You have to meditate with it, journal with it, do everything in your power to like really like engrave it to your core, to the point where like you can identify it at any given moment, right? Because again, if you're not aware of it, you cannot change it. There's a reason why professional athletes look at tape, right? They look at the tape so they can become aware of what the issue is. If they can't identify it, if they can't see it, how are they gonna make a change? There's a reason why they look at tape, right? There's a reason why we record meetings and meetings at work, right? So you can go back. There's a reason why we take notes in meetings, so we can go back and see what we missed. And so when this is such a deep layer, like, you're gonna forget it. It's gonna get missed. And so the reason why I say to sit with it, meditate with it, journal on it, so that you become so engraved and locked in on it that you never forget it. Now, this doesn't have to take a month. This doesn't have to take 6 months. This doesn't have to take a week. You can literally do this in a day. In one day, you can get so engulfed into that pain and see what it is that you will never, ever forget it. And so once you get to that state, here's the next thing, right? And the next thing is reframing and creating a different belief system from that condition that you've created from a child or from an adult or whenever that issue happened. Now, what does that look like? I'll give you an example. So I was somebody, and I've talked about this a lot, like I was somebody who from a very young age was very quiet and timid my entire life. Since 5 years old, I was very quiet and timid. And even when I became an adult, like, I was the shy kid. Like, I would not dance with girls at clubs. I could not talk to a girl. I could not start a business. Like, I was just afraid of asking questions. I was afraid of even asking questions to my friends, right? To masculine men. Like, I was afraid to even show up. Like, that's just the place that I operated from, right? So I realized, like, it's because of the trauma that I had when I was 5 years old. I talk about this all the time. Like, I got sexually molested when I was 5. And because of that one moment, I created 1,000 different belief systems. 1,000. Right? 1,000 different belief systems. And from those belief systems, I operated on a daily basis in thousands of different ways. One of those ways was the fact that I was a very undecisive person. Very indecisive. If you ask anybody that knows me a couple years ago, I was one of the most undecisive people you'll ever meet, right? You ask me, what do you want to eat? I'll say, I don't know, you choose. You ask me like, hey, you want to hang out next week? I don't know, let me think about it. Like, I'll let you know in 5 days. Like, what is there to think about in 5 days? Like, just choose right now. Like, right here, right now, I can choose whether I can hang out with this person or not, right? And so it was something that I could never like just get. Like, I'd just be like, I literally would try and convince people and tell them like, hey, that's just how I am. That's how I think. That's just how I do things. Like, I just take my time. I take my time when I make decisions, and I believed that my entire life. And come to realize that it's actually absolute bullshit. It's actually not true. Like, it was true in the sense that I believed it. It was true in the sense that that's the belief system I created as a child, but it's not true in the sense that it doesn't have to be my truth. My truth can be whatever I choose it to be. And so eventually I got to a point where I was like, you know what? No more. I am not that person anymore. Like, I started seeing, right, all the patterns in every part of my life, how it was affecting me, how being undecisive was affecting, you know, my time with my kids, my relationships, my business, my health, my friends, like anything, you name it, it was affecting every single part of my life. And so when I finally pinpointed it and realized like where it was coming from, that's where you make the choice. That's where you make the shift. And I chose in that moment, I am a decisive person, and I snapped my fingers and that was it. And so I want you guys to take that from here, is that it is that simple, right? You identify the layers, you peel the layers, you sit with the issue, you sit with the thing and the belief systems that you've created, and then you choose a different belief system, right? And that's what I was trying to tell my friend here, is that like, he has been running his life from a belief system that he didn't actually think he deserved it. And so at the end of the conversation, I asked him, I was like, who do you choose to be right here, right now? It's not tomorrow, it's not next week. And I didn't let him leave until he chose. Like, you had to choose, because when you choose it, it has to be such a powerful choice that nothing, and I'm telling you guys, nothing will pull you back. Because the minute you choose it, the entire world will show you every scenario as to how you can create that outcome. And the word he chose, actually one of my favorite words, is relentless. He was like, relentless, it's relentless. He's like, I've never been relentless. And which is true. Like, this guy is super smart and he does a lot of things, but he's tends to be very indecisive, like in the way he communicates and the way he talks. It's kind of like he's constantly hesitating, when it's like, no, relentless is just go, 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 go. And so I love that word. It's a fucking powerful word. And so I'm super excited to what he's gonna create in the next several weeks and months. And you guys can do the exact same thing. Every single one of us can do the exact same thing at any given moment, at any given time. And imagine if you can do that multiple times a year, right? Not one time in your whole life, not one time every 10 years, but I'm talking about multiple times a year. That's how easy it is. Like, you can literally create that at any given moment. And so if you ever done this and you're still watching this, drop a comment down below and tell me where you shifted in your life or what are the things I can talk about to help you be able to shift on. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next video.